You can't control how people are going to react. You can only choose how you live. I think that trap of being overly obsessed with what other people think is a slippery, dark slope. Even when I do something stupid or embarrass myself, I can kind of laugh at myself.
This man will put a smile on your face no matter what you're going through. Today's guest is a teacher, a father, and a Canadian man squeezing the most out of his life living on the other side of the world in Australia. Please welcome to the show, Josiah Hein. Put a smile on anyone's face, energetically through the roof. Has that always been the case?
I obsessed over humor, man. I love making people laugh. Like I remember one time, dude, I was walking in my high school and this guy in front of me, I overheard him talking about Will Ferrell, the actor and anchorman. And he said, Will Ferrell's the funniest guy alive. And my heart sunk, dude. I was like, I want to be the funniest guy alive. Can't believe I'm not.
You said where everything changed for you was when Jesus said he was your father?
I was always insecure. I was always so obsessed with people think of me. When I realized that the God of the universe loves me, I just became so secure. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. This is a long story, but I was crying and holding my knee, and Jesus comes over. He's like, get up, keep running with me. I love you. How could you love me? I've lived my whole life against you. It doesn't even make sense. Like, why? And I was so frustrated. And then he just looked at me and he's like, you don't get it. Like, I created you. You're my son. How could I not love my son? And I was like,
Josiah Hein, welcome to the show.
Chris Griffin, it's a flipping honor, baby. It's an honor.
What were we just talking about before we pressed record? You got hit by a stick at school today.
Yeah.
Why, man?
I'm not sure, man. Sometimes it's just chaos, you know?
Yep.
You get a culture of kids who like to throw stuff. It's funny. It's kind of like, oh, isn't that funny, you know? So it was a direct hit right in my temple, bro.
You've recently become a father.
Yeah, 23 days.
Why do you know the date so well?
I don't know. It's just the best date ever.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
How much has your life changed since becoming a father?
Significantly, actually.
Why so?
Because I think when the chick's pregnant, it's kind of like, for the dude, business as usual. Do you know what I mean? Other than like, touch my belly, it's moving, and it's like a game. But I think for me, I didn't link that there's like a human in there. You know, like I think I tried to. But when that human comes out, now all of a sudden it is like you have to feed it. It's not like the placenta's taking care of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like that sack is like changing the diapers. There's like a lot more tasks to do, right? The wife is a lot more gassed, you know? Breastfeeding is exhausting. 700 calories a day, bro. She's burning just from breastfeeding. That's like, how many workouts is that? That's a load. So she's tired. She's exhausted. You know what I mean? So then I'm trying to like, you're doing a good job, babe. You know, it's
How do you feel being in that position? Do you feel helpless?
I feel like, I don't want to say useless, but I think in the early part when you have like a kid, they ultimately don't really need the father right away. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't produce 750 milliliters of milk a day, bro. It's not personal. It's not like my boy is like, oh, that guy's trash and she's my girl. He just smells his favorite taco joint and he just wants to settle in for tacos every half hour. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's like a survival thing. So at the end of I just can't settle this kid down, bro. Like at the end of the day, it's like, sometimes it is just like, I'm changing the diaper and he hates that. He hates it, bro. The second you lift up his legs, he just starts freaking out like, you know what I mean? And it's every bit of muscle. Like, I don't know how many calories he's burning, bro. It would be a fair chunk of his body mass is engaged in that action. And then he is flipping, screaming, and he doesn't have any teeth. So his gums are perfectly rounded and he is pelting out. And I'm trying to like get this diaper cleaned up. You know what I mean? But it is a lot, man. It's a lot. And then my wife comes in. Why is he screaming like that? Well, babe, I can't settle the kid down. I don't produce milk. I don't have the glands. Okay. I'm trying. And it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I'm not completely useless because like I can change the diaper. I can do that job, right? I can like lift him on my shoulder and try to like get a burp out. I can take him from a walk to get him away from the smell of the milk. Bro, oh. It's yeah, man.
Tough job.
I mean, it's not as hard as my wife's, right? Sure. Like, I think that's crazy, man. What women have to go through, the pregnancy, it's a lot, bro. You're carrying like all this extra weight all day. Have you ever done anything like that where you carry weight around?
No.
Like a weight belt or go for a run with a weight belt or anything?
Yeah.
Imagine doing that for 9 months straight. Like,
And the weight progressively gets heavier.
yeah. And the emotions are not great.
So when it comes to, when we realized that you said 23 days ago, your son was born.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Bear.
Yeah.
Bear Hein.
Bear Hein. So Bear was born 23 days ago, and you've had this profound realization of like, oh my God, there's actually a real person and he's mine.
Yeah.
Has that made you feel the need to show up in any different ways?
Oh my gosh. I 1000%. I don't want to say I was resting on my laurels, but like I was. You didn't realize it because there's nothing staring at you as like an accountability, you know? Like it's hard. It's a hard gig too, man, because like I feel like, you know how we can all be like critical of our fathers? You know, the fathers can't win, bro. They either work to the bone and they miss your soccer game, or they didn't provide. And you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, it's just like that we can always have a criticism of a father, right? And I'm like sitting here, now I'm a father. And I'm almost like, almost guaranteed to screw up in some way. Do you know what I mean? I'm guaranteed to like, even if I try to be a great dad, I don't, I'm a human. I'm not a perfect entity. Do you know what I mean? So those faults, whether I'm a little bit passive aggressive or anger, it's like freaky, dude. You're like, I wish I worked on this stuff, dude. Like now he's going to see everything. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like the personal life to life stuff of like just basic stuff. Like walk around the house. How's my hygiene? How's my diligence with washing the hands? How's like all these little things that you never had a little guy watching every move of you. And now I do. Well, eventually when he can't really see right now. He can see like black and white shadows. So we're good for now. But and I'm just, and then I look at it and my wife, when we got together, she's like, babe, it's my lifelong dream to just be a mom, So like realistically, I'm happy to, she had this great career. She was an occupational therapist. But I think at the end of the day, the chick just wants to be the best mom. She wants to be at every soccer game. She wants to take the kids to, soccer is just an example. Could be ice hockey, rugby league, AFL, I don't know. But get there and she just wants to be the best mom ever, the Mom of the Year award, right? And I'm like, Flip, that means I need to carry the load. Like I can't rely on her income, Because like, dude, one of my biggest thoughts is I want more kids. Like, honestly, I'm thinking this is like, I've been to 54 flipping countries, bro. I've met thousands of people. I've had, I've stood on top of Mount Kilimanjaro. I've dived the Great Barrier Reef. I've I've been to some of the coolest sports games I think possible. I got married to the love of my life. You know, we had like this crazy 10-year love story. We had a 10-year gap in when we met, and somehow we're together. Now we're married. It's like a miracle. But having this kid is just life-changing, man. When I pulled that kid out, it's I think it's the greatest experience of my life, honestly. And to see how much my wife loves Bear, man. It's so powerful, bro. It is. My love for my wife is like, I feel like it's triple whatever it was. But that's just like, I'm like, wow, this woman. You don't realize like, you don't know the quality of a fruit until you squeeze it to see what the juice is like. So right now, this is squeezing my wife, and you realize, oh my gosh, her juice is perfect, dude. You know, like she's under pressure right now. We're finding the contents of her character, and she is a bad woman. Like she is that girl. I don't know. She's a killer mom. She's nurturing, loving. I don't know. It's changed. It's weird, man. 23 days, and I feel like I feel like I've just landed on a new continent that I've never been on. You know, like that famous story when that who was it? Was it Cortez where he burned the boats, dude, in Mexico? And he's like, guys, this is your home. We're not going back to Spain. I'm lighting these flipping ships on fire. You're on this shore. And I'm just like, how do I be the best human I can be? Like, dude, I've been to the gym, I think 15 times in my life. Okay. 8 of those have been in the last 9 days. Like I'm like, I need to get fit. I need to pursue these dreams that have been dormant, you know? These little things where maybe I've made excuses. Maybe like even my own podcast, you know what I mean? Like I've filmed 12 episodes and I haven't edited and posted them. Do you know what I mean? Like just stuff like that. And you're like, well, what's the dream? Like, and it's kind of just getting back to my purpose, I guess.
So there's a level of pressure that you've probably onboarded since having Bear, where you've gone, fuck, it's on me.
Yeah.
I need to provide now. My partner wants to be the best mum in the world.
Yeah.
And I need to give her the comfort to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
man.
do you feel, and how have you been navigating onboarding all this new pressure? How does it make you feel?
I feel like I'm built for it, honestly.
What do you mean?
It feels like I've activated something in my brain that was meant to be here, you know? It'd be like if we went to war, probably. If like Australia was getting invaded and you like, you know what I mean? These soldiers were coming on Burley Beach and all of a sudden you got to fight for your family. I don't know, like war sucks, but like you have to defend your wife and kids, like ultimately, you know?
Do you think it gives you a new purpose?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
A reason to get up, go again?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, man. It makes me, I just want to be the best version of myself. So I don't want my kid to be, wow, my dad had so much potential. Do you know? Because that's what I feel like, dude. I feel like yeah, I don't know, man. Like I was thinking about this. I want to be Kobe Bryant, but I've realized I'm Carmelo Anthony.
What do you mean?
Like I want to be the Mamba mentality. Like Kobe Bryant believed that God gave him ability. And so he had to work so hard to make sure that that when he stood before God one day, God would be, hey, you took my gifts I gave you and you worked to develop them. You worked your hardest. You stewarded what I gave you and you actually made it better. And it proved to God that it was worth it, you know? Whereas like, I feel like my pre 23 days ago, I was that guy that was really gifted, but wasn't working, wasn't putting in the sweat, because I was smart, like I just don't think I had the character. Like I've been just really facing this recently, man. Like, so if you're smart, right? You're a kid. I was super smart. I had like a crazy high IQ when I was like 12 years old. I think I did an IQ test. And I think it was like 145 or something. It was like extremely smart, right? But like maybe because of ADHD or maybe because of, I don't know, whatever it is, I didn't want to work. So if the teacher's talking about math, I'm not sitting there going, could you give me the harder problem that I really want to think about? I really want to unpack this. I'm like, got it. I want to play with my friends, distract the class, be a class clown. So like all of my energy wasn't in thinking. It was in entertainment. It was in laughs, which I'm good at now, which is not bad. Like I feel like it's like the yin and the yang. Like you pursue something at the cost of something. Like you got 24 hours a day. So if you sink 6 hours into a project, it's powerful, but it's also 6 hours you're not doing
somewhere else.
right.
I guess this is an interesting thing about people that are very smart in school. It can kind of box them in a little bit in a negative way, because what it can do is you're labeled your whole upbringing. You're smart, you're intelligent, you should be doing this, you should do this, you should do this, you have the potential to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is you feel obliged to do that as well. And potentially, what can happen with high academics, people that want to become doctors and lawyers and all of this, they can spend so much time, and this isn't the case for you because you said that you were smart, but you didn't want to put in the effort.
Yeah.
But the people that are smart, that put in the effort, the negative to that is they can invest their whole childhood into a career. Then they get into the university degree, hate it, but they feel trapped because they don't want to let down everyone else that's believed in them to become the doctor or the lawyer that they were going to become when they finish this degree. So they stick it out and go down a path that's unfulfilling for them.
Yeah.
But then there's the other thing here is when we're talking about character and how you build character, you're explaining you were smart, so you didn't really need to try to get good grades.
Right.
So what happens there is the actual process of trying and putting in effort isn't a muscle that you've trained and developed.
No.
You're just smart.
Yeah.
And so the downfall to that is probably a inability to take action and be active and engage in the things that are going to progress you further to the life you want to live, because maybe in your head you're already at a level above people or something, and then it catches up to you.
And then you realize that everyone overtakes you.
It catches
which is
up to you.
crazy.
What do you mean by that?
It's crazy to think, dude. So like, I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I did an IQ test the other day and it was 107. I was a 145, bro. So you think like at 12, I'm 145. I'm way above average or whatever it is. I'm 97 percentile or whatever the percentage is, right? Now I'm like 70th percentile.
What does the IQ test even entail?
It's just problem solving. It's like, here, look at these puzzles. How many can you solve? And then whatever level you get to, they give a number of your problem solving ability. That's basically what it is. It's like pattern recognition.
There's so many factors though
there's a billion,
that play a role. If you're interested in the problem, you're going to be more inclined to want to solve it.
Yeah.
If you have passion tied to solving the problem, regardless of how hard the problem is, you're probably going to do a better job.
Yeah, that's true.
The problem with an IQ test, from what from hearing you're explaining, I don't actually know what it consists of. The problem with that is what can lie with that is it's a very cookie cutter approach in the sense that you can solve a puzzle that is solving a politics problem, and you could put that to 1,000 people.
Right.
And someone that might be not as smart but loves politics will probably outperform the people that do not give a fuck about politics, but they're smarter.
Yeah.
It's a bit skewed.
Yeah.
And I think the tests are cool, but I think honestly being able to actually lean into your strengths and the things that you're passionate about, the things that light you up, is the actual thing that you can mark your own metric of IQ and your confidence and your
Cool.
smartness and all those things, as opposed to looking
That's
at, quite
beautiful.
frankly, a silly test.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're way smarter than you were at 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so imagine the metric, right? Talk to me about you at 12 years old. I want to go back to younger Josiah.
Younger Josiah, bro.
And talk to me about growing up. You grew up in Canada.
Yeah.
And talk to me about how you were as a kid growing up, and give me a bit of context on you, because I'd love to know.
Yeah, so I'm born in this city called Red Deer.
Red Deer.
Red space deer. Red Deer.
How many siblings do you have?
4. Well, I got 3. Yeah, one passed away 2 years ago. Older sister.
Sorry to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. She left behind 3 kids.
Oh, wow.
Wild, bro. Yeah, Abby, her name was Abby. And then we were kind of like the similar siblings. Kind of out there, you know, little bit little bit this in personality anyway. And then Josh, and I have a twin sister. And then I got a younger brother. Right? So that's
older sister, twin sister, younger brother.
Yeah. $1 million family or whatever they call it, right? The 4, 2 girls, 2 boys. Beautiful, man. My mom and dad moved us from Alberta over to Toronto when I was 1. And then, you know, they helped other businesses, and then they started a business over there. It was doing really good. And they started another business. They had 2 businesses at the same time. Like, business just kind of runs in our family, I guess. It was like telecommunication. And I was like, I mean, this is before 12, but when I was 8, I was always interested in like making money in sales. So I started figuring out, I built this little desk, and I started stopping cars on the street and selling them gravel from my yard. And I found these cleaning products that make them shine. So I was like, look at this precious stone, you know? And I was just this like little hustler of a businessman. And then when I was 10, I realized that all my neighbors were like struggling to get out of their driveways in the morning. And I was like, well, you want me to shovel your snow for you? You know? So I started waking up when I was 10, bro, at 6 in the morning. I'd shovel 5 driveways, go to school at 8. And these people were giving me $50 a driveway, dude. So like I could be earning $300 cash before 8 a.m. at the age of 10. Like, I was like a little hustler. I lied about my age. So I started when I was 12, actually. I got a job carrying golf clubs at a golf course. It was called a caddy, where you carry the golfer's bag and clean the clubs and help them read the putts or recommend. Oh, on the driving range, you were hitting your 8-iron 150. So I recommend, an 8-iron and maybe choke down an inch on the club. And I was doing that at 12, right? I won Caddy of the Year at 13, and then I lied about my age because I hated spending money, and all my friends wanted to go to the movies every Friday night. And I'm like, flip, man, this is $8 a ticket, you know? And I'm like, how do I hack this? I'll get a job at the movies. So I fudged my date of birth, got my second job at the movie theaters, bro. Became the #1 popcorn salesman. There was one girl. She was usually slightly better than me, to be honest. But one time I won the award. One time, anyway, I was a good salesman. Just upselling people on the popcorn. And yeah, and then I was just so interested in like money and savings and stuff, And I don't know. It was just that I was a weird kid in that way. Like, I was like approaching my mom and dad. I'm like, hey, mom and dad, like, I've got this money here. I want to go to Ireland on a golf trip. And they're like, well, you're 13, And I'm like, well, I'm meeting a friend over there, like, I met him on the cruise in Spain. Like, we're pen pals. Like, what do you think? All right. So I'm just like, I'm on golf trips internationally.
13.
Dude. I could have been 14, but let's say 14 just for safety.
So how was your relationship with your siblings growing up?
Um, man, Avi was. I think when Jenica and I, my twin, were born, Avi was 3.5. So I think we really just took all the attention away from her, and I think she struggled with that. So we got the feeling that Avi didn't really like us. Like she was rough, man. Like it was,
Really?
oh, dude. Yeah. Abby was just a bit of a troubled child, man. She would just dominate, dude. Push us up against the walls, and I don't know. She just had this, I don't know, aggression in her. Um,
At what age did that go away, if it ever did?
when I got upper body strength, so dude, eventually I could, because dude, she was a giant. By the time she was in fifth grade and she was 5'8", right? And when she passed away, she was 5'8". She never grew from fifth grade. But at fifth grade, this chick was a bulldog, man. Like she'd like go to school and get in a fight with a guy, and the principal would call and say, Abby's been in a fight with a guy, with this male student, this boy. And oh, is she okay? She's fine. But she beat the bricks off this other guy. Anyway, so Avi, yeah. So eventually I got to compete with Avi, and I did it in pretty bad ways, to be honest, man. Like I was just, I think one time I hit her in the kneecap with a Ninja Turtle truck. Like it was filthy, bro. It was,
It's crazy how you remember that moment. Just getting.
yeah.
Is there any lessons you learned? And obviously, you unfortunately lost her a couple of years ago. Is there any
Yeah.
lessons? Did that teach you anything about life?
The young days
No,
or just Avi?
did her passing teach you anything about life, or give you any realizations or anything that you've pondered on?
I think, it changed my life, man. Yeah, like I went back there, I'm just like weeping at her grave. Like everyone left to go to the wake or whatever to like have drinks and snacks and whatever. And my wife and I just stayed, and I was just facing the dirt, like just because I loved Abby. Like it was Abby, yeah. Abby smoked cigarettes, right? She loved smoking cigarettes. And the family didn't like that. Okay. The family is like, you shouldn't be smoking cigarettes, which is probably true. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. And, but anyway, I'm like, well, she smokes cigarettes. So every Christmas, say it's like -40 outside. I'm like, Abby, I'm going out for a cigarette. Abby, I'll come out and just chat with you. And it was like our time to have one-on-one chats. And we just, almost every cigarette, I'd be outside with her, just getting to know her. Like, I've never even had a puff of a cigarette, but I just loved getting to know her. And I guess I get it's a hard one, man. What I learned from it. I don't know.
There doesn't need to be any takeaways. It was just more so sometimes when there's unfortunate things like that happen, it makes people realize things or appreciate things or cherish certain things a little bit more in their life, just because you never know when it can be taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really interesting. Obviously, I don't know any of this about you, and so it's
Yeah,
just fascinating
yeah.
to know.
Yeah, one major change was that I was on the flight home from San Francisco to Australia, and I was saying to my wife, I'm like, babe, I have to do something for those kids, And they're always up, like they're up when I'm in bed, and it's hard. Between the States and here, it's like weird timings, right? So I just decided to make videos about Australia to them. So up until that point, I was posting a video every single, pretty well, not maybe not every day, but pretty well every day, just about I'm eating this burger or I'm whatever, just really like talking about what I'm doing, right? But this is the first time, so I'm on that plane, right? And my wife goes, "Hey, Josiah, they don't have creamer on this plane. It's just milk. And that was when I made my first video. I'm like, guys, in Australia, they don't even know what creamer is. They don't have it. I'm on this airplane, Virgin Australia, and they've offered me milk with my coffee, you know? And that one hit millions of views, dude. For the first time, I was like maybe 9,000 followers, right? And then that one hit 1,000,000 views. And then we land in the airport. And have you been to San Francisco?
No.
Well, all the cabin crew were like, "Are you renting a car while you're here in San Francisco?" I'm like, "No." Well, good, man, don't, because they're smashing cars. They're breaking people's windows. Apparently, this is happening in San Francisco. They give all the homeless people phones, okay? And then they have a block corner. And if they see anything in a vehicle, they text a number. And within 10 minutes, there's teams of people that go to those, smash the window, and steal anything in the car, right? So, like, San Francisco, for car theft, like for your belongings inside the vehicle, is next level. Like, it is organized crime at the highest level. So there's just this anxiety in the street when you're walking around. So at the luggage carousel, they're flipping shoulder to shoulder, bro. Like, they're not letting their bag go 3 meters, you know? And I land in Australia and people are sitting back. People are outside having a cigarette, watching their bag go around and around. And then I made a video on it. I was like, to Jackson, Lily, and Jacob, I'm like, guys, in Australia, they don't crowd the luggage carousel. You know, like, they just chill. They're just so laid back here. And that one hit like 4 million views. And, you know, the Today Show with Carl Stefanovich, they're like, "We want you down to talk to Carl about your latest video." And then I went from 9,000 followers to 50,000 overnight on the flight back from my sister's funeral, from the most heartbreaking moment of my life on the plane. And somehow up until this point, up until Bear came, the greatest victory of my social media career anyway, the breakthrough. Weird timing, man.
Yeah.
Strange timing, you know?
It's interesting how it all pans out. The reasons we do things, the decisions we make, and kind of just zooming out enough and realizing how perfect everything is.
Yeah.
Like how it's all really meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
I look at moments like that, and they kind of they call for a bit of introspection and like looking within.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see something horrific happen. You know, she's unfortunately left a few kids behind, and now you're going, those poor kids, man. I need to be that ball of light. You show up in a way that's very energetic, alive, confident, and you're kind of this ball of light for anyone that you kind of are in, any presence you're in throughout the day. And every time I've seen you, you've been energetically through the roof, next level. You can put a smile on anyone's face. Has that always been the case, or would you say that it's enhanced over the last couple of years?
It is. I'd say I was always funny. I was always like really, I obsessed over humor, man. If someone didn't laugh at a joke, I'd tweak it. Like from a young age, I was like, oh, I won't say it like that. I'll try to, like, strange. I love making people laugh. If I can make people laugh, like, I remember one time, dude, I was walking in my high school and I overheard Anchorman just came out. That's giving away how old I am here. This is 2003 or 2004. I think I was grade 9. Anyway, and this guy in front of me, I overheard him talking about Will Ferrell, the actor in Anchorman. And he said, Will Ferrell's the funniest guy alive. And my heart sunk, dude. I was like, I want to be the funniest guy alive. I can't believe I'm not, you know? And I think I always loved it. I was always fascinated with people. I love to see, it's scary, dude. Like, you go to high school, there's fights every day. High school in North America is a terrifying experience. It is, you know, there's initiations. Have you heard about this? So if you're in grade 9, which is the first year of high school, or a freshman, they will just like lock you in a locker all day simply because you're in grade 9. Like it's not personal. It's like they have to initiate the minor niner. You know what I mean? Like they're just doing horrible things like saran wrapping you up a tree just because you're in grade. It's terrifying, dude. So I'm like the way I was scared every day to go to school. Every day. I was terrified. So I used humor. I'm like, well, maybe if I can make these big, scary grade 12s laugh, they won't beat me up, you know? So I'm like grinding for humor. And dude, I went to 7 different schools. So I was always the new kid, right? You know, we moved all over the country. And I have to be an icebreaker, right? So if there's one thing I developed, I think, was like the ability to break ice. But I was always insecure. I was always so obsessed with people think of me. And I think it was for me, it was when Jesus told me that he's my dad and like he loved me. And I think when I realized that the God of the universe loves me, I just became so secure. I don't care what anyone thinks about me at all. Like it was just gone almost. Maybe not gone. Like I guess it was a bit of a process, but I think everyone's insecure. Like I'm still insecure, but it's like way less because it feels like I'm loved. I don't need to earn your love because I'm already I'm already loved. You know what I mean? I'm overflowing. I'm not needy. I'm not so just I think that was one of the major plays. And I think it's gotten even better recently, man. I just have so much fun. Like even today after it was like I was like sitting there at morning tea and it was like a couple of tough lessons got hitting the in the temple with that stick. And I'm like, that was a tough day. You know, I was literally telling people, I'm like, it's been a tough morning for me. You know, like I've had a couple of weird moments and, you know, like I had a coffee and someone put something in my coffee and I was like, geez, that sucks. You know, I'm like, and then period 3 came around and it was soccer. And I'm like, scored 4 goals, man of the match. I taught those grade 8s a lesson, bro. Da, da, da. And then I was flying high, dude. And I'm just like, and literally I thought about my day. After that, I'm like, this is a great day. You know, and other people are like, so what happened with the stick? I'm like, oh yeah, forgot about that. Like, I think I have a short memory, bro. Like even when I do something stupid or embarrass myself, I'm kind of like, I can kind of laugh at myself, you know?
Yeah, that's powerful. The ability not to dread on things that didn't go to plan.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to be embarrassed. No one wants to be upset. No one wants to get a stick thrown at their head.
Yeah.
No one wants any of these things.
Yeah.
However, your ability to be able to move on from those things,
Yeah.
the quicker you can do that and your ability to be quick in that process ultimately results in a more peaceful and joyful life because you
For
need to be
sure.
able to not dwell and sit down in that dark tunnel and move on because the sooner you move
Yeah.
on, you see more light, just like you had the soccer game.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were still living in that version where you're annoyed, you probably wouldn't have
know.
showed up in that
Some of
way
those
when the soccer
guys that
game.
possibly threw the stick at me were in the soccer game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when I got told that, I was like, really? I was like, I'm like, how do I be a joy bringer? Cause I was actually like offended, bro. I walked over and I was like almost tears in my eyes. Like, I'm like, guys, I'm a good person. That's what I said. I was like, I'm a good person, you know?
Why'd you feel the need to say that?
I don't know. It's not really like me either. But I was like, I was, yeah, I chose to be hurt. I was like, I just wanted to sit in it a little bit.
When you say you chose to be hurt, what do you mean?
Well, I kind of think we have choices, everything. I think you choose your response. I don't know if it's accurate, but responsibility is like your ability to respond. And I don't know where I got that right now. but you can choose your
I agree.
response.
I agree.
Yeah. So I sat in it, and I was like, it's not a good feeling. And like it was a week. It was a week,
Yeah.
you know?
And the crazy thing is most people live their life like that.
Yeah.
They let their emotions control them
Yeah.
as opposed to taking control of them.
Yeah.
Or they put their problems onto someone else, which means that you remove the control that you have to
Mhm.
resolve that problem. You are
Right.
you are
Right.
faced with a problem, you be a
Yeah.
victim, so
Yeah.
you dish the problem to someone else. But by doing that is you are reliant on the way that they solve that problem or
Yeah.
handle that problem will dictate how you feel.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take ownership and you're still tied to the thing, you're going to be affected by it time and time again. And this is why people go around in circles,
Mhm.
because the more you not take ownership, the more you not look within and see where you can grow from that and handle it on your own accord,
Yeah.
the more you're letting someone else's hand and someone else control the way you feel.
Yeah.
So being able to kind of remove that. I want to dive back into this just before. You said where everything changed for you was when Jesus said he was your father.
Yeah. I that mo I mean, this is a long story, but um it was probably the most powerful moment of my whole life, I think. I was just like, I fell asleep, drunk on this bus. I was working at, um, Shooter's nightclub, which is in Surfers Paradise, and I was working at this nightclub, right?
When?
2006. So I am 2006 working at this nightclub, fall asleep drunk on the bus. Okay. It's like it was a tough day. I chose to be, whatever. So like we're drinking after. Some guys go to the casino after. Like Shooters close at 5 a.m. Right? The casino never closes. So you go there, you're drinking, and anyway, I was pretty drunk, and I fall asleep on the bus, and I woke up at Burley, and I'd never been to Burley before, and the bus driver's like shaking me, "Get off the bus," and I'm like, "Where am I?" Burley, and it was beautiful. These beautiful trees. Went for a walk around, and this couple that was like praying that morning, like Christian couple, very spiritual, were like, Jesus, just use us on our walk, just we want to meet someone or whatever. They believe in God. Like, but they're like, anyway, and I meet them. I was standing at a fork in the road on the halfway up Burley Hill where it goes, do you want to go left to the coastal walk or right on the rainforest track to come back around towards Talabunga, right? And this couple is like, hey, they just met me, and I'm like, which way do I go here? I've never been to Burley Heads. And they're like, oh, you really got to do both. It's all beautiful. Just explore the whole thing. I'll see you later. They were exercising. And then they saw me up the top and they're like, hey, let's buy this guy lunch. I think it looked like I was just a wreck, I think, right? So they're like, hey, can we buy you lunch and introduce you to our son? Maybe he can be your friend. And I'm like, okay, and the son comes. I'm like, free food, cool. And they're like, so yeah, tomorrow I'm playing guitar on stage at church. You want to come? And I'm like, I grew up Catholic, but most of my Catholic friends, like, um, I wouldn't say that they were like the strongest followers in a way. Like, and I think the church was always like wooden pew, super liturgical, like, those repetitions, like, back to you, Father, and I don't know, just like um, these pattern services, and I found them quite boring as a child. I'm not sure how they are; they're probably great, but I found everything
Hmm.
boring. And I'm like, I don't want to go to that anyway. I show up, go to this church, and I was scared, man. I worked the night shift again that Saturday night, and I was drunk again, and I'm like drinking before church. So I walked into church, March 5th, 2006, drunk, right, hammered, and I'm like, when's lunch after this? And I fell asleep on their couch, and they woke me up they gave me lunch, and here's a steak, and we're going to the evening service now. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? We were just at church. Like, what's, and they're like, yeah, we're going again. These people went to church twice in a day, bro. They were like super committed followers, I guess. So I'm involved. I'm now in this community, right? And I'm like trying to work out what's going on. And a few months in, I was at this, I guess, it was like a potluck dinner where everyone brings food and we share a meal. And they're like pretending like it's like a, um, like the Last Supper in the Bible. Like when Jesus is like, all right, guys, do this in remembrance of me. This is my body broken for you. And this is the wine, my blood shed for you, you know? So we were doing that, right? And then they were like, all right, they're reading the Bible as we're eating and stuff. It was pretty nerdy in a way, and they're like, all right, guys, just take this time to remember, you know? And I guess, so I close my eyes. I'm in this room and it's hard to explain, and it's a while ago now, but it was like a movie started playing. It was like I had like some sort of um like a hallucination or something. It was like I could see an image, and I was in this image, and I was like running in this field with Jesus, and he's just like, "You're it, Josiah, I love you," and I'm like, "You're it, Jesus," and we're kind of wrestling with each other, pushing each other off, just having fun, and then I tripped and I hurt my knee, and I was like, I was on the grass, and I was crying and holding my knee, and Jesus comes over. He's like, "Come on, Josiah, grab my hand, get up, keep running with me. I love you. Come on, Josiah, grab my hand, get up, keep running with me. I love you." And then I just started screaming at him, like, and I was like, "Why? Like, why do you love me? Like, it doesn't even make any flipping sense. Like, I've lived my whole life against you. Like, I don't love an ant. Do you know what I mean? Like, how could you love me? I've lived my whole life against you. It doesn't even make sense. Like, why?" And I was so frustrated. And then he just looked at me and he's like, "You don't get it. Like, I created you. I formed you. You're my son. How could I not love my son? So get up, son. Keep running with me. I love you." And I was like, I was in this, yeah, the vision ended, and like after it was like, God's my effing dad. I just couldn't believe that God's like my dad, and like that I don't have to earn his, like my son, I'm love bear till the day he dies. He doesn't need to do a thing, bro. He could be the worst person alive and I'll still love him, you know? Like, cause it's like a positional thing. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Cause I thought God only loved good people, you know? And I didn't feel like I was a good person. And then, yeah, I'd say that moment just changed me, man, in a profound way. Like, I went back to Canada. My friends are, some of them are dealing cocaine and I'm like, guys, I'm trying to live for Jesus now. I'm like, I wasn't even drinking at that time. And like, dude, what? You're the hardest drinker we know. Like, I had vodka in my locker, bro. Like, I'd be drunk by 10 in the morning and many days of the week in grade 11 and 12. Like, it was wild, bro.
Why did that spark change?
It's a good question.
Was this in 2006?
Yeah, 2006. Holiday working visa in Australia.
Yep.
1 year.
So if we kind of fast forward to now.
Yeah.
And when we caught up the other day, straight away, you're just filming in public, screaming everywhere. You're like, "Oh my God, guys, we're in Narby's Beach. Narby's Beach is where all the most gorgeous people hang around. Look at these people here. That is the best pizza shop. I did a review there. I got a pie from there." And you're like, and just like loud and proud. We get to the Oxy. You're like, guys, you got to check this out. This is the Oxley. look how many beautiful people are here. And you walk
Yeah.
in the Oxley, man. Wow. You can even go there's a grocer there, dude. Are you kidding me? And you're like loud. And then everyone's like complimenting you like, Jesus loves you, baby. And then just like, I'm like, whoa, never met this guy before. But he's just going
What
crazy.
an intro. What an intro.
Where does that stem from? You mentioned that there's a level of freedom that came
Yeah.
when you started kind of believing in Jesus and,
Yeah.
and you had this freedom where you're like, he loves me. I don't need to please everyone else. But
Yeah.
how did it progress to where it is today? From a confidence thing, people would dream
Yeah.
to be able to have the confidence. And when I reflected on this, it's not about wanting to do that.
Right.
The only people judging are the ones that don't have the courage to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I judged.
Yeah.
I could never bring up the courage to do that. At least right now,
Yeah.
that would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like I got the audience and what people are perceiving of me. And,
Right.
you know, I look over my shoulder from time to time. There's people whispering and talking about me all the time. And that gets in my head, let alone making a scene out of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And what I reflected and the lesson I learned from that is heat rises. And the only people that are hating are people below you, because people that can do what you can do aren't hating.
Right.
Like the billionaires aren't hating you for starting a business.
Yeah.
And the people that are extremely confident that run around like you, or that are speaking on stages, doing all this and improvising and stand-up comedy and all the things, they're not hating on you.
Yeah.
It's the people that if the roles were reversed, they could never even do that.
Yeah.
And when I see that, I just go, people would love to be able to have the freedom like you do to be able to do that. You had your nose strip on because you don't want to snore. Like you had everything going on, man.
It's true, dude. I forgot about that.
Where does it come
that's
from?
funny.
And how do you think it got to where it is today?
I had great parents, man. My dad just valued people. Like he'd stop every time we went to the supermarket. He's like, you know, hey, are you from India? What part? You know, like that's how I grew up, bro. So I learn languages because I saw my dad learning. I can speak more languages than my dad now, but like, I don't know. Sorry, this is just a note, and then I'll get back to the question. But like that feeling, dude, when like someone's like worried you're gonna judge them. You're like, where are you from? And they're on edge. Is he racist? Is he gonna accept me? It's scary for them to tell you sometimes. And they're like, oh, I'm from the Philippines, you know? Or like that lady, that cleaner lady. I'm like, mabuhay, kamusta ka? Okay lang. And like she's like, he's speaking Tagalog. And they open like a flower, man. And they realize they're safe. This guy respects me, my culture. And it's hard to explain, man, but it's so beautiful when that moment happens. And I grew up watching my dad have these moments with people every day, you know? And my mom and dad, they probably gave me too much confidence. Like, bro, I thought I was the best singer on the planet. My mom said I was. You know what I mean? Like, so I went out for Canadian Idol thinking I was just gonna win the whole damn thing. You know what I mean? And they're like, hey, dude, should probably keep your day job, you know? And I'm like, oh, really? Like I genuinely, up until that moment, I was like, I'm a great singer. Like I've never, for some reason, man, I've never struggled with like, how do I look? Like I didn't even, like when I reconnected with my wife after that 10-year gap, like I was pretty chunky, man, you know? Like I was 117 kilos. So it's like, but I was walking around shirtless in the shops, like almost like completely, I don't even know if it's like, it's like not even introspective in some ways, which sounds bad maybe, but like it was like I didn't even know what a calorie was. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even know. I've just learned. I don't know a lot, you know, of like things that never interested me. You know, like fitness and calories and eating and healthy. Like that just wasn't even in my repertoire. So because my parents always said, you look great, you know? So I just believed it, I think. And I was like, yeah, I look great, you know? I don't know. I struggled when I had acne in school and I was a bit pasty. So coming to Australia, getting a tan, learning how to surf, I felt like I had that new when like I couldn't get into any university in Canada because I was drinking in school, you know? So like all my friends went off to university and I'm like feeling like a failure. I come down here, tan, surf, somehow, after I went back to Canada after the holiday working visa, I applied for Griffith University. And I don't know if they made a mistake, but they accepted me. Studied business, whacked some teaching on there. And like all of a sudden, it's almost like Australia's given me this new start, man.
Mm.
And it has been because no one limits you when they don't know you, you know?
Do you think that has been a common theme of your life? Do you think there's this feeling of wanting change because of how much change you went to 7 different schools growing up?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm piecing all together here is you said moving to Australia, it's like no one knows you. So no one's judging you because no one
Right.
knows you.
Right.
You also look at the line of work, relief teaching, not full-blown teacher.
Yeah.
Where it's like we're hopping
All
around
different
here, different schools.
Yeah.
We go changing schools growing up.
Yeah.
It's like the way you're living now is just a reflection of younger Josiah.
Yeah. That's true.
How many of us, I wonder, are in the same patterns that we were in
Mm.
when we were a child? Now, they may serve us, and that's great.
Yeah.
And we can keep that because why get rid of something that serves us?
Mm-hmm.
But being aware of it,
Awareness, dude.
to be able to actually see if it serves us or not.
Yeah.
Because the
You don't
likelihood
even
is
question it.
a lot of times that younger version of us and those patterns that we've developed at a young age are not serving us in the age we are today.
Yeah.
So being able to be aware of that
Mm-hmm.
and have the courage enough to do the thing that serves you, whether it's the thing you are in now or the thing that you're not in yet,
Yeah.
and be able to take that leap is quite an interesting take. What it also shows, though, is how important parenting is.
Yeah.
Speaking about at the start, how different your life has changed in the last 23 days. But when you look at
Mm-hmm.
when you contribute, one of your probably biggest strengths is your confidence. And you said, I had good parents.
Yeah.
My dad did this in public.
Yeah.
Of course I'm doing this. I'd be weird if I didn't.
Yeah. That's what I saw.
And so
Yeah.
the influence of that type of role model in your life is actually extreme life-changing. It's the most life-changing for yourself or your son.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, how does that make you feel being a parent now and watching Bear grow up? It just makes you more hyper aware of the way you're acting and the things that you're doing.
Definitely, man. Hyper aware. Yeah. Geez, so I'm just excited now after that take, dude.
Yeah.
That I can be that for him. I can be a bull of confidence, and he can see his dad doing what everyone thinks looks scary his whole life.
I think there's a very freeing part about that.
Yeah.
I would say confidence is probably one of the biggest killers, one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
I reckon if you don't have confidence and you're in a cycle of comfort,
Mm-hmm.
very hard place to get out of.
Yeah.
A comfortable, unconfident state where you're not confident
Yeah.
and you're extremely comfortable with what you're doing. You're not presented enough pain to make change,
Right.
and you don't have big enough desires to make
Yeah.
change. So you're stuck in this in-between space that's not bad but not great.
Yeah.
And if you tie that on with a lack of confidence,
Mm-hmm.
that's a very hard place to be in.
Yeah.
And so being able to instill confidence from a young age can then make it part of their nature as opposed to their nurture,
Yeah.
so that then when they get older in life, it can come a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you have that confidence, that can unlock so many doors for these people in life. I
Yeah.
reckon gaining confidence and confidence in what you're doing and being able to show that, and in your energy that reflects that,
Mhm.
everything flows from that.
Yeah.
People feel gravitated towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Your ability to make big dreams and chase them is so much more likely, I would say, having confidence. Would you say
Yeah.
it's one of your biggest superpowers?
Now that I think about it, bro, yeah. Because Yeah, it's hard to even see it as confidence because, yeah, it's funny to put it like that. But yeah,
What do you see it
but
as?
people like, all the times, like I see kids, they observe me, right? Like school kids. Like, Mr. Hahn, how did you just walk over there? And, or like they'll say comments like, Mr. Hahn, that person thinks you're an idiot. Or like they'll observe things that I didn't observe, and they'll be like, and it's negative. And I'm like, well, I didn't even notice that though. I don't even like, I'm not, I think you can't control how people are going to react. You can only choose how you live, and then you say your piece, like this podcast. You're going to put this out into the universe, and you can't control what people are going to write. You can't control, like who clicks on it and who doesn't, and who likes it and who doesn't. That's completely out. But you've chosen to be true to you and who you're on this planet to be in your view, and you execute that at the expense of it. It's almost irrelevant. Like, to me, it is irrelevant. Like when they're like, "Oh, Mr. Hahn, that guy probably doesn't like you," and I'm like, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, cool. Like, Jesus loves me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm like,
There's so much freedom in that.
whatever. I'm like, I'm loved, bro. I'm in a position of being loved. I'm in a position of being accepted. So I just don't care as much always, I guess, in a way. And it's like, and then, dude, my freedom helps other people respond beautifully. If I was coming into that with anxiety, they would probably freak out and panic and echo a bit of that anxiety.
Because I would feel for you.
Yeah. They're like, oh,
no,
he's trying.
embarrassing himself.
Yeah. But I'm like not even feeling those things. So I'm not even bringing that vibe or energy. So then dude, I don't know. If you were around me a bit more, you would see me cut through people like butter. And it's generally positive. It is very rarely negative. And but no, I agree. But I think that trap of being overly obsessed with what other people think is a slippery, dark slope. It's like a funnel going down a toilet, bro. It's just, you don't want to start the funnel, like.
And you said something insane that just like blew my mind when we were at the cafe the other day. We were explaining all the situation that was going on, and you just sat there, so much calm. You didn't respond for a second, like the stoic man you are. And you sat there after I finished talking and you didn't say anything. And then you look up and you're like, there's a firestorm going on right now. And you're a whale, dude. You're like, there's a fire going on and you're in the ocean. And you're not even you're at the king of the ocean. Yeah. And I just went, oh my God.
Yeah.
How many firestorms do we perceive to be in the middle of when in reality we just need to own our shit and become a whale in an ocean where the fire on the land doesn't even apply to us?
Yeah, you're looking for plankton.
It's like, dude, we're playing a different game here.
Yeah.
You can't hold your breath under here like I can.
Yeah.
And I can't be out there.
It's like
I don't want to be out there.
Shark, dude.
Yeah. It's like, stop trying to fit a triangle into a square. It doesn't work. And there's a level of freedom being able to feel that and go, that actually doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
It's actually not me.
Yeah.
And like, that's okay that you are offended by the whale because I'm eating some plankton over here.
Yeah.
But I don't really care that my branch just fell down from the tree that was on fire that I was standing on, because I wasn't standing on it.
Yeah.
It's like we're in a different world here.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying clearly doesn't apply to you and doesn't serve you. And what you're saying clearly doesn't apply to me and serve me.
Yeah.
So why don't we just respect each other?
Yeah.
And move on with our days? And there was some freedom in when you said that. And so I want to commend you I want to commend you for everything that you're doing. Yeah, you really inspire me. There's a feeling I get when there's someone that is doing something in their life that has so much passion, excitement, courage, and empathy for other people. And you just like, when I met you the other day, first I met you, we were on the run and you came running up as well. And that in itself, I just went, who is this guy? Reminded me of my good friend Jogo. And he's like, more energy. And he's got this real good energy. And you remind me of him so much. And his energy is contagious. And honestly, he's one of the favorites on the podcast. Wow. I've had him on twice and they go very viral because of his energy and how powerful it is. And you're very similar. And I just think what you're doing and you're leading with your heart and it's so amazing. And I just want to commend you for everything you're doing. And I want to let you know that if there's any way I can ever support you, I want to be there and want to help wherever I can. And just thank you for being you and shedding your light.
Thank you, bro.
I appreciate it.
What an honor.
And if you guys
your last podcast in this studio in Australia.
Yeah, for the time being, moving over to the big wild America, man. Tuesday next week. This is Thursday. So yeah, 5 days. Crazy. But if you guys made it to the end, screenshot this and tag Josiah and myself. I'll leave all of his details in the show notes description below so you can go and check them out. Tag us on your Instagram stories so we can personally thank you for tuning in and making it to the end. And leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple because it really helps the show grow and it helps us keep getting awesome people just like Josiah back on the show so we can all keep on growing together. Honestly, since the Slack for the last couple of weeks that I've been receiving from all the news channels and everything like this, I went from a 4.9 out of 5 stars, dude, to a 4.1. There's all these trolls that have come in that don't even watch the show that have slammed my reviews, which is a shame. It's unfortunate, but I asked for this. This is the game I'm playing. So if you guys love the show, it would mean the world if you could try and bump that back up. Give us a 5-star review because it'll really help the show grow. And when we go get all these A-list celebrities and we're interviewing all the biggest people, the people you know and love, that'll really help contribute to getting those on the show. So we're going to sign out for this week. Thank you so much, Josiah. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks, Chris Griffin.
And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.